Hi, I'm Neil Kelleher. In this video I wanted to go over a few hip flexor stretches, and for these stretches the main focus, building on previous videos, building on previous recent videos, will be on feeling and controlling the sitting bones. And to start off with, what I'd suggest, a nice way to say perhaps get tuned into the hip flexors and the hips in general is using the same exercise or the same muscle control option that I've been teaching in the previous is to focus on sitting bone control. And if you haven't already watched those videos, you might find those helpful. You could watch, there's one on working towards sitting cross-legged, one on child's pose. Both of those focus on sitting bone control. But standing with knees slightly bent, you can warm up by retracting the sitting bones, so trying to spread the sitting bones. And what you may notice is that your sitting bones tend to lift, and if you keep your ribcage still, your lumbar spine will bend backwards. Something else you may notice when you spread your sitting bones and you feel your butt activating, you may get some tension at the front of the thighs as well. Your rectus femoris and other hip flexors acting at or near the A6 to pull the A6 downwards. So that can be the focus in this exercise when you're spreading the sitting bones. Feel your sitting bones lift, but also feel the front points of your hip bones moving downwards. And you might need to fine tune, maybe focus on one leg. Feel the sitting bone lift, feel the A6 pulling down, then focus on the other leg. Spread the sitting bone, feel it lift, feel this being pulled downwards. And then once you have a feel for each leg individually, focus on doing them together, but adjusting one leg at a time so you get even sensation on both legs. So here you can see my rectus femoris. Maybe even be able to use your fingers to feel the tension. Now the next action then is practicing retracting the sitting bones. So again, with knees bent, you can retract the sitting bones, and here too you may get hip flexor activation. So as your butt activates to help squeeze your sitting bones together and drop the sitting bones, you may find that you get activation of the hip flexors automatically. And here again, you can focus one leg at a time. So squeeze the sitting bone inwards, feel the front of the thigh activating. Then the other leg, squeeze the sitting bone inwards, feel the front of the thigh activating. And then do both legs together. Once you have the hang of that, doing that with the knees bent or slightly bent, you might also want to practice it with the knees straight. So spreading the sitting bones. And something else, once you get the hang of it, you might want to do this with your spine reasonably long and upright. Just focus. So it can be interesting to watch your muscles activating. You can use a mirror. But once you get a feel for them, practice doing it with the spine lengthened. So from here, with the knee straight, you can practice spreading the sitting bones. So here again, notice your sitting bones lifting. And you may get some slight discomfort in the lower back with the knees straight, so you might want to move your rib cage forward a little bit, or even bend forward, tilt your torso forward a little bit. If you find that still uncomfortable in the lower back, then leave this option out. But anyway, spreading the sitting bones. Another option, maybe try varying the turn out of your feet. Turn your feet outwards, parallel or inwards slightly, or just allow your feet to move naturally. So with your weight forward, spread the sitting bones, so my heels move out, relax, spread the sitting bones, relax, spread the sitting bones, relax. And then here again, see if you can notice any, and actually if I allow my heels to move, I don't get quite as much activation of the front of the thigh. If I keep my heels still, if I keep my feet still and then spread the sitting bones with the knees straight, I do get more front of the thigh activation as I spread the sitting bones. So that's something to be aware of. Then doing the opposite action, squeezing the sitting bones together. So going back to that, the whole reason for moving the feet was to alleviate any lower back discomfort. If you do get lower back discomfort, maybe leave that option out, would be the simpler thing, and just practice it with knees bent. Knees straight, retract the sitting bones. And here again, see if you can feel, you might have to actively pull your sitting bones down, or just try squeezing the sitting bones. See if you can notice any tension in the front of the legs as you squeeze the sitting bones. And again, you can try one leg at a time. Squeeze the sitting bone inwards, relax. Squeeze the sitting bone inwards, relax. Squeeze the sitting bone inwards, relax. And for myself, notice it's not so much the front of the thigh that I'm getting activation, it's more the outside and the inside. So this is more than likely working on the sartorius, or perhaps even gracilis, and also tensor fascia lati, which are hip flexor muscles. So the other side, squeeze the sitting bone inwards, relax, squeeze the sitting bone inwards, relax, squeeze the sitting bone inwards. Then both legs at the same time, squeeze the sitting bone inwards. So practice that, go a little, I'm rushing a little bit. Work at doing this a little bit more slowly and smoothly. Focus on feeling the activations while you're doing it, actually enjoying the sensation of smoothly activating, smoothly relaxing. Going into a lunge, upright lunge, back foot, top of the back foot flat on the floor. In this position you can, what I normally suggest in my class is, as you do the sitting bone activations, you can turn the foot out or in, leave it parallel if you want. Also, don't be afraid to vary the width of your feet from side to side so that your hips are comfortable, so that you can activate so that you can do the muscular activation that causes your sitting bones to pull out or pull in. So you can do that muscle activation effectively. So for here, what I suggest, first of all, even though the intent can be to stretch the hip flexor of the back leg, what you might find helpful is to use use sitting bone control to control the front leg so it's more stable. So for this leg, what you could do, spread the sitting bone. Again, notice any activation at the front of the thigh, relax. Spread the sitting bone, relax. Pull the sitting bone outwards. Feel your butt activate also, relax. Pull the sitting bone outwards, relax. And then working on the back leg. What I'd suggest for the back leg, pull the sitting bone inwards. You may notice your thigh rotates inwards slightly, that's fine. Something else you could do, move the foot out or in as you need to get an effective activation. But for this leg, squeeze the sitting bone inwards. Notice the butt, notice the front of the thigh activating, relax. Sitting bone inwards, relax. Sitting bone inwards, relax. And then what you could do, both legs, sitting bone out, sitting bone in, relax. Sitting bone out, sitting bone in, relax. Sitting bone out, sitting bone in, relax, and then come out. So, front leg, sitting bone out, relax. Sitting bone out, relax. Spine long, sitting bone out, relax. Back leg, sitting bone in, relax. Sitting bone in, relax. Sitting bone in, relax. Both legs, front leg sitting bone out, back leg sitting bone in, relax. Front leg sitting bone out, back leg sitting bone in, relax. Front leg sitting bone out, back leg sitting bone in, relax. Now another option is to do the lunge with the back leg lifted. And to begin with, if you find it too confusing, if you can't hold the back leg lifted, you might find it easier to spread both sitting bones or to retract both sitting bones. That is an option. So with the back knee lifted, what you could try doing, what I'd suggest, retract, pull this sitting bone inwards, pull this sitting bone inwards, and then relax. Pull this sitting bone inwards, pull this sitting bone inwards, relax. Notice, so one leg at a time. This sitting bone inwards, relax. Or you could try outwards, this sitting bone out, this sitting bone out, relax, this sitting bone out, this sitting bone out, relax, this sitting bone out, this sitting bone out, and then relax. And you could also do the option, spread this sitting bone, retract this sitting bone. So lift the knee and then come upwards. If you wanted to, you could have your hands on your front knee if you want. Have yoga blocks, hands on yoga blocks, coffee table, whatever is handy. Front leg spread, back leg spread the sitting bone, feel the butt activate, relax. Front leg spread the sitting bone, back leg spread the sitting bone, relax. Front leg spread the sitting bone, back leg spread the sitting bone, relax. Rest if you need to. So ideally you can do this by yourself without the video, but retracting, sitting bone in, relax. Sitting bone in, relax. Sitting bone in, relax. And what you could also do, sitting bones in, stand up. So another option, so using lunge, you could probably do some of these variations while standing on one. Actually, so let's just do lunge with the back knee bent. So move your hips back, grab the back foot with the opposite hand, and then sink forward like so. And with the hand on the floor, you can focus on the bent knee leg. Go very slowly, go very smoothly. Maybe the first thing you could do is try to stiffen the bent knee ankle, or the back leg ankle. Stiffen the ankle and the foot. Then from there, try spreading, try retracting the sitting bone. Relax. Pull the sitting bone inwards. Relax. Pull the sitting bone inwards. Relax. Now, a couple of ways you could go. You could come upright. So I'll use a wall here. Could come upright. Pull the sitting bone inwards. Relax. Pull the sitting bone inwards. Relax. Pull the sitting bone inwards. Relax. You could do that with the same side hand grabbing. Whoops. Pull the sitting bone inwards, relax. And actually, activate the foot, pull the sitting bone inwards, relax. Activate the foot, pull the sitting bone inwards, relax. Activate the foot, pull the sitting bone inwards, relax. Another option is to go onto the elbow, and this can be quite intense also, strangely enough. So in this position, same thing. Activate the foot, squeeze the sitting bone inwards, relax. Activate the foot, squeeze the sitting bone inwards, relax. Activate the foot, squeeze the sitting bone inwards, relax. You could also try spreading the sitting bone in that position. Something else you could try doing, so you could try retracting the sitting bones. Something else you can try doing is just generating a pull on the sitting bone. So not pulling outwards or inwards, just feeling your sitting bones, which indicates that the hamstrings and other muscles which act on the sitting bones are active, but also muscles that oppose the hamstrings, i.e. the hip flexors, they are also active. So going on to the other side, so hips back. So this leg for me, left leg back tends to be a little bit more difficult for me. But anyway, so what I'd suggest, focus on the ankle and the sitting bone. So ankle strong, sitting bone inwards, relax. Ankle strong, sitting bone inwards, relax. Ankle strong, sitting bone inwards, relax. And notice how my foot, might be hard to see on the video, but as I move my sitting bone inwards, my foot moves inwards as well. What you could try doing is keeping the foot still, move the sitting bone inwards. See how that affects the activation. It may or may not help. And then coming upright, so here again, ankle strong, sitting bone in, relax. Ankle strong, sitting bone in, relax. Ankle strong, sitting bone in. And what you can do is deliberately move the foot in or out to see how that changes the activation in this hip. Relax. Ankle strong, sitting bone in, relax. And then going on to the elbow. And actually this can be surprisingly, so if you have trouble getting down onto your elbow, don't be surprised. I was quite surprised about how intense the stretch was, particularly when grabbing the back foot with, well, when grabbing the back foot with the opposite hand, which is the only way you can do it while going down on one elbow. But anyway, from here, foot strong, sitting bone in, and here again you could move the foot in or out, slightly vary it, see if that affects the stretch. Relax, foot strong, sitting bone in, maybe even lengthen your spine, relax, foot strong, sitting bone in, sorry if my foot's dirty, relax. And then come out. So that's a couple of hip flexor variations. I'll do one more. So one other option that I'll show is to kneel with one knee bent and the other leg straight. So this is, so bending forward, this is Triang Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. I said Trikonasana in a previous video. Lying back, it could be called supta virasana or half ardha supta virasana. I'm really not up to date on my Sanskrit. So, but anyway, in this position, if you can get your butt cheek to the floor or reasonably close to the floor, this too can be a nice way to stretch the hip flexors of this leg. And here again, what you might want to do is control your sitting bones. So you could try spreading the sitting bones. That tends to be more useful in seated in a forward bend. Tends to be. You could try retracting the sitting bones, and this is what I'm going to try and use while lying back. And what I'd suggest, you can try retracting and then relax. Retract, and I'm working on both sitting bones. Relax, you can move this knee in or out. Retract, relax, and then from there, if you're comfortable, you can go onto the elbows. Retract, maybe stiffen the foot, relax, retract, stiffen the foot, relax, retract, stiffen the foot, relax. And if you find your lower back is twinging, something else you could do, lengthen the spine, maybe pull the abdominal wall inwards to activate the transverse abdominis. So the sequence might then be lengthen the spine, pull the belly inward, sitting bone inwards, activate the foot. Relax. Spine long, belly in. Sitting bone inwards, activate the foot. Relax. And if you like, I feel I can go further now. So spine long. So my knee's lifted. I wouldn't worry, unless it causes you knee pain, I wouldn't worry too much about that. So one of the goals can be then to get the knee to the floor. Spine long, belly inwards. Sitting bone inwards, and here with the leg active, I can use my elbows to shimmy my body forward so my knee gets to the floor. Foot active, relax. Spine long, belly in. Sitting bone inwards, knee down, foot active, relax. Another option, bend the knee of the other foot. Spine long, belly inwards, sitting bones. This leg, sitting bone inwards, you could try lifting the hip if you like. You could also try grabbing the foot. Notice I'm nowhere near being able to grab my foot. So if you have a strap or something handy, that might be another option. Could also, work at hugging the knee to the chest. But anyway, should I do the other side for you? What the heck? So, and actually, just to see if there is any difference in size for me. And I'm sure you can always skip ahead if you don't want to. And actually, this will probably be the end of the video, apart from some notes on general muscle control. But from here, you could actually spread the sitting bones if you wanted to bend forward, trying that action. Relax, spread the sitting bones, relax, spread the sitting bones. Maybe work on your forward bend, and you may get some muscle cramping when doing these actions. But then from there, retract the sitting bones, relax. Retract, relax. And what you could do, spine long, belly in, retract, foot strong, relax. And in this position, to make the foot strong, you could simply try pressing the top of the foot into the floor, or just make your ankles strong. There are various exercises you can do to practice foot activation, so it's easy to activate your foot and your ankle. But from here, you can go back onto your hands, spine long, belly in, sitting bones inwards, foot strong, relax. Spine long, belly in, sitting bones inwards. So my main focus is on the bent knee. I am still getting some slight activation on the straight leg, relax. Spine long, belly in, sitting bones inwards, relax. And then from there, see if I can go back onto my elbows. Spine long, belly in, sitting bones inwards, foot strong, relax. So rather than just doing this by the numbers, spine long, belly in, sitting bones in, focus on actually feeling your body while you're doing these actions. So for me, I'm getting a bit of twinge in my lower back. So after lengthening my spine, I'll adjust slightly so I can get both sides long, and then I'll pull the belly in, and from there I'll see if I can adjust to alleviate any lower back discomfort. And if I can't, then I'll just stay here for a few more repetitions of lengthening and pulling the belly inwards, maybe adjusting the side to side, so this hip more forward or this hip more forward. So I'll make adjustments so that my body feels comfortable. And then from there, I'm going to go to the floor. So here you can use your elbows to help move your body forward or back relative to the bent knee foot. So spine long, belly in, sitting bones inwards. So here I can get the knee a little bit closer to the floor, relax. You can also activate the foot. Spine long, belly in, sitting bones inwards, knee to the floor, foot strong, relax. Spine long, belly in, sitting bones inwards, knee to the floor, foot strong, relax. And then you can play around with the other foot, bending it if you need to. Now I got a bit, so coming out of that, something you might want to do, and I did this with the supta virasana video. If your knees feel a bit tender after doing that stretch in particular, you might like to do a forward bend. So revisiting the forward bend, something that you can do. Open the back of the knees first thing. When you open the back of the knees, try to make the front of your thighs active. And if they don't activate, or if you have difficulty activating, not to worry, spread your sitting bones. Notice your butt activations activating. See if you get any front of the leg activation as a result. Relax. Back of the knees open, spread the sitting bones. Notice your butt, notice the front of the thighs, relax. Back of the knees open, spread the sitting bones, front of the thighs active, relax, and then do the retraction. Back of the knees, pull the sitting bones inwards. Notice any front of the thigh activation or front of the hips, relax. Back of the knees open, sitting bones inwards. Notice the front, your hip flexors, relax. Back of the knees, sitting bones inwards. Notice your hip flexors, and then keep the activation. Use that to stand up. So there are a few examples of how to stretch your hip flexors. Notice again that we're using the sitting bones, and I've used these in a variety of poses, and that's one advantage of muscle control is you can play with it. It's something that you can carry with you and experiment with in a variety of different poses, so you're not limited to different postures or stretches to stretch or work on a particular model, a particular muscle. Instead, you can use these actions. And also bear in mind, it is possible to overuse sitting bone control, and for that reason, there are other muscle control actions that I use while playing with different stretches or actions. So sitting bone control isn't the be-all and end-all. though hopefully what you're finding from these videos is it can be extremely helpful for helping to improve flexibility and even body comfort, or even perhaps even performance, depending on how you go about doing it. Anyway, I do hope this was helpful. And again, when you're doing any of this stuff, please focus on feeling, controlling your body, adjusting. If there's any pain, leave it out, or if you can't adjust in such a way that there's sharp pain or discomfort, then leave it out. Also work slowly and smoothly. So I might have been rushing in some of these. When you're doing it by yourself, try to find a slow, smooth rhythm so it actually feels comfortable, so it actually feels enjoyable, so that the rhythm of the movements, the activation, relaxation helps to make the exercise or the activity a more enjoyable or even meditative experience. Thank you very much for watching. Namaste.